Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm here.
It is time. We are back. The Breakdown Boys. Sensei finally made it here later than ever, but you know what? Better late than never. I'll say that. We are here with the one and only prescribing hands in the ring and prescribing meds and just health and well-being in the New York area. His name is Dr. Mike. Mike, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? What's going on? It's fight week. I'm excited. I got the week off from the hospital. It's good times all around.
There it is, man. You're looking great. I mean, the hoodie is covering the bulging muscles. Those things are popping out, but still, I can tell you're in shape, brother. Talk to me about, I just watched your video, and we'll start here. Talk to me about the shape you've been trying to get in these last couple weeks. I heard you say you got to lose some weight to get down. But what's it been like, man?
Yeah, for iDubbbz, our contracted weight was at 190, and I normally walk around 200. So I dropped down for iDubbbz to 188 just to make sure I was under significantly. And then for this fight, we contracted at 185. And I regained that weight back after iDubbbz. So it was a little bit of a process to re-lose that weight. But this morning, I'm weighing in at 188. So I'm already there, basically. Good to go. Ready for weigh-in time. Feeling strong. Okay. My conditioning is better than it was before. This is objectively speaking. Not only do I feel better and more confident, but also just looking at the numbers of some of the tests we do with the folks over at Boxing Science, the conditioning is feeling really special. I'm excited about that.
No, I saw you had been working with those guys over there, and you've been putting I've been watching Mike for a while now, and I really appreciate the videos you do. But then you got into the boxing scene, and I really started watching. It's called Boxing Science, the group you're with, but you put this to a science. You have dedicated time, effort. You're even doing supplementation, which I know you're not a big fan of, but doing it for boxing specifically, you're taking this seriously, and I think this is something that people are going to realize on fight night. But I want to start all the way back in May when we had the iDubbbz fight. Did you see yourself after that win, right? We were there, Sensei and I on commentary. We saw you do your thing. Did you see yourself automatically jumping from Creator Clash, which was a massive success, to fighting on Showtime? Like, talk to me about the transition. How did this come about, man?
Honestly, that fight was something else because everything about it was a new experience for me. I wasn't a pro boxer before that. The whole 10 years of boxing thing was really coming in once a week, hitting pads with the trainer for fitness sake. And I even remember, I don't remember who said it on the commentary team, but someone did say that when I jumped into the ring and was doing my little ring walk on my introduction, people, I think, Wade, it might have been you. You said, like, Mike looks like a guy who's been here before. And I'm like, I have never been here before. I am faking it until I make it.
You see how I sell it? That's what a good commentator does, baby. No, you did, man. You looked great. You were ready to go. So much so ready to go that me and Sensei, every time we go back and watch that fight, when Airsoft Fatty was doing that national anthem, bro, I can say I was like, Mike is so ready. Let's get through this. Third time's the charm. But
yeah, I needed it to go through so bad because I was ready to explode there. And obviously we had issues with timing and all of that, but I think that worked in my favor.
I think so.
Now I'm ready for the unexpected. I'm ready to perform. Nothing can really throw me after all the things that kind of happened in that moment and adjusting to all that.
Yeah. You're here. You've adjusted. You got it done. And now, like I said, we're on Showtime. This is the big leagues. You and I were just talking a second ago, Mike, about how, the press you're doing for this fight is unlike what you did for Creator Clash. And I just told you, I was like, hey, man, welcome to the big leagues. This is Showtime, baby. And not only that, you're on a Jake Paul card, and you're fighting Chris Avila. Talk to me about your opponent and just, again, what this stage means now. Now we're in the big leagues.
Yeah, now, I mean, I've always taken boxing seriously ever since I started, but now it's obviously at a much higher level. Doing the press, I mean, even the media day earlier this week was insane. Like, I started jumping rope, and there's 3 guys floating around with cameras, 25 people in the room.
Yep.
I'm like, how long do I jump rope for? Like, what are you looking to see? And I didn't realize it's just they wanted to film my workout. I wasn't actually putting on a show, but it's all stuff that you have to learn and figure out on the go. I will say for this fight, the biggest distinction that I made in my training sessions was with iDubbbz. I think going into the fight with iDubbbz, in total, in my life, I had 10 sparring sessions. On this fight, I'm probably coming in with triple that, just for this fight alone. So the amount of rounds we've put in sparring, and not just rounds with the same people that we work with iDubbbz, we brought in new people who were MMA style, kickboxing style, throw from awkward angles, have different footwork than a traditional boxer, as well as working with boxers. So I got to see everything thrown at me. Aggressive guys, guys that counter style, bigger guys, shorter guys, just so that I'm ready for absolutely anything. I mean, I know Chris Avila is not going to magically grow overnight, but I need to be ready for whatever style comes my way.
Well, that's the thing. I think, Sensei, you could probably talk more to this. Chris Avila, for people that don't know, a professional MMA fighter, professional boxer, guy has 20 fights, never been knocked out. Also a 209's finest, right? Part of the Nick Diaz army out there. Sensei,
Yes.
you want to speak more to the man that he's going in there to fight?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll say the MMA thing is tricky because what you're doing is smart, trying to find as many different looks as possible, because when someone has an MMA background, that kind of means nothing, because it could be a jiu-jitsu guy, it could be, like you said, kickboxing, could have a boxing background. And when it comes to MMA, everyone kind of has their own style. So it's good to see that you're really mixing it up. But I got to ask you a question. You said you got 1 week off from the hospital. I wanted to hear again how I need some inspiration here on how you balance it, because I was just coming from a staff meeting because I run a dojo full time. So I'm coming from a staff meeting, and then I hear it's fight week and you're taking 1 week off from a hospital. So I'm like, bro, how did this man do it? Talk to me.
Well, I don't have kids. That's a good win for me in terms of having more time flexibility. My mornings are reserved 2 hours for boxing every morning. That's 6 days a week, usually 5 days a week for boxing. And then 6 days a week in the nights and evenings, I'm doing strength and conditioning work as prescribed by the folks over at Boxing Science. And then the days are packed with the half the week is YouTube, course making, podcasting, etc. And then the other half of the week, I'm in the hospital working 3 days a week, seeing patients, saving lives, teaching residents. And I will say, becoming a quote unquote professional athlete, I'm only saying quote unquote because the fight hasn't happened yet. I have grown to be more empathetic to my patients who have injuries and perform in sports. So I feel like we have a little bit better doctor-patient relationship thing going on now.
Yeah, I think Sensei and I are going to have to start migrating our practices and our injury stuff. We're just going to go see Mike, dude. Mike understands this. He is a machine, Sensei. What is this guy?
Literally. And not only physically. I mean, you just told me that. I mean, you just laid out your schedule, but I want to hear a little bit more mentally how you, because I know when I'm preparing for a fight, just mentally what you have to go through. It's fight week and game planning and strategizing. Typically, professional boxers, that's all they do, and so much of that time spent is on that and just mentally in the wear and tear. So how do you deal with, just boxing everything, no pun intended, when it comes to mentally?
Yeah. And first of all, every time I'm walking around the hospital or even here in the YouTube studio, I'm shadow boxing. I'm moving around. I'm thinking about opportunities, watching some videos on my iPhone of some boxing coach sharing some wisdom tidbits. So boxing has kind of taken over the last 6 months for me in terms of holding my mind hostage, if you will. Yep. But because I'm involved in so much, it prevents me from burning out. I don't get tired of anything ever. I constantly am shifting gears and moving to different activities, and it makes it fun. And I said it in my first iDubbbz video. We have more stamina than everybody. That's the goal. We just outwork everybody. People need to go and relax after their boxing sessions. I go to work. I come home from work. I go to work again. I wake up in the morning. We do it all over again.
Talk to him.
This is This isn't about overconfidence. It's just the reality of the situation. Nobody can do this level and this level successfully when it comes to YouTube, boxing, all of that. But I also have to give credit to my team that makes this a reality, because I have some great people around me who not only help me with the YouTube stuff, but also help me with the boxing stuff in order to guide me in the right direction. Because in reality, your body can only allow so much training.
Right.
It's not like those boxing guys are also training a third time in the middle of the day. You can't.
Correct.
Your body will break down. So even times I've had to pull back on an evening session and skip it just because my body, I felt that I was pushing it to that edge. And I've had injuries. I've had elbow issues, shoulder issues, back issues, where I've had to tailor my program around it. Sensei, I saw your video on your labrum. I have the same issue. Worked around that early in the camp, have figured it out since. Shoulder feels great. PT. Actually, my sports med doctor from NYU who took care of me asked for tickets to the fight and is coming to support.
Let's go, man.
That's amazing.
That's how you do
awesome
it. Hooking it up.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
we're talking about, your lead up to this thing, and we're talking about your opponent. When you watch Chris Avila, Mike, and I know you don't want to give away strategy, anything like that.
No.
What exactly do you see out of him? Where's the danger lie, right? You even said it a second ago. He's not going to magically grow. He's 5'7", right? There is
He's 5'10".
5'10", excuse me. He's not going to be, a guy that's at your size, right? You're coming down to see him. There's a meet in the middle there. What do you see out of him, though? Like, what is the danger in going in with Chris?
First of all, he's tough. He's part of NDA. He has a ton of experience. So I can't out-fluster him. Like, I can't put so much work in that he's going to be shocked. He's seen it all. He's been in the ring. He's been in the octagon. He's been everywhere. I think he's fought UFC, Bellator, Combat Americas. He's been everywhere.
Right.
And he was on the last Jake Paul card and won against Pretty Boy.
Yep.
And Pretty Boy just had a big win. So the fact that he's beating him goes to show Chris is serious, like in the boxing game. He wants to improve here. He wants to have big fights. And his overhand right is really his dangerous weapon that I have to be on the lookout for at all times. But he can come from any angle. He can come from low, from high. He moves around very well. I have to be very thoughtful and always on guard to make sure that a guy like him who can easily sneak a shot in and put you on the canvas like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And I think, again, there's people in this scene that, we call it the crossover boxing scene, the YouTube boxing scene. I think you're one of the first outside of Jake to step outside of that, and KSI now, to step outside of that and start fighting pros. And this is a dangerous game, and I know you know this, but speaking of some of those other content creators, I know you're not looking past Chris. You got a big fight on your hands already, but people are starting to throw out your name a little bit. We just had Misfits #2, and JMX said, I want a piece of Dr. Mike. Logan Paul might be wanting a piece of Dr. Mike. Are you looking at some of these guys as a future fight down the line, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, of course I have to, just because of the nature of my size. I have to find people who are far and few between sometimes. I actually was watching that interview with JMX and you on stage when I was in an Uber.
Oh,
and
there you go.
The Uber driver had my name because of the app.
There you go.
And he started laughing because he heard it over too.
Yeah.
And it was funny to have JMX call me out. But look, I think there are all opportunities out there. I think that if I listen to my trainer, who is a professional trainer, ex-professional fighter, former Golden Gloves winner, tell me that I can go as far as I want to in this sport.
Shout out Coach Baldwin, by the way. Shout out Coach Baldwin.
I got to believe him. I got to put my trust in him and say that he knows what I'm doing and where I need to improve. And he thinks I'm not complete as a fighter yet. Absolutely. He thinks that there's a lot of things for us to work on. But he's talking about fights 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 already. So he's excited. Probably more so than I am.
It's usually how it is.
Yeah, I like that. Well, listen, you're on a massive card, and I just want to get your thoughts on this card. You're sharing a card not only with Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, and we'll get to that fight in a second, but you're also sharing a card with Le'Veon Bell versus Uriah Hall. Ashton Silva's on this card. Talk to me just about the makeup of this thing and what fights you're most excited for outside of your own on Saturday.
Of course. The beauty of going first is you kind of get it out of the way, and I'm able to watch the rest of the fights, which I didn't have that opportunity on Creator Clash, so that's going to be fun. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell is going to be a cool fight to watch. I don't know how he picked his opponent, but that's a dangerous fight for him. I think in watching Adrian Peterson's form, he's in a world-class running back. He's not a world-class boxer, I'll tell you that. And there's no hate to him. He put his life on the line stepping inside that ring, but he was just very stiff, very predictable. I was kind of upset that I didn't get a chance at him.
I was going to say, I want to ask this now that we're here. Are you watching that Le'Veon Bell fight with kind of just a watchful eye, kind of closer than you would? Because I know that might, depending on how it goes, that might interest you as well, possibly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say he's a little bit bigger than me size-wise, but I think that could be a reality. His name has been thrown in the ring with some of the fight promoters and myself, but actually, I said this earlier in one of the press interviews. Initially, MVP approached me for the last Jake Paul card to fight Frank Gore. And I
Oh,
wanted
wow.
that fight so badly, but
Heck
they
yeah.
told me it with 5 weeks to go, and I just,
Yeah.
knowing how much sparring I needed to do and how I wasn't
Right.
fight ready, we had to pass that up. And actually, my trainer was pointing that out today during our session. Like, remember when you said you're passing up a Showtime card? What a missed opportunity that is. Are you sure we want to do it? And now you're on a Showtime card. So I'm actually glad we waited.
Yeah.
We're also supposed to be on the August 6th card, but that kind of ended up falling apart. So this has been a long time in the making, and a lot of time, energy, sweat has gone into this. So, like, I gave it my all. This is my 100% coming into this fight. I've never felt better, never felt more confident, never seen more looks. All the guys in the gym who don't respect me as a YouTuber, but now respect me in the boxing ring,
Yeah.
have come on my side, and that's exciting to see.
Heck yeah, man. Sensei, you got anything else? I'm gonna go. Actually, you know what? Let's do this first. I need your pick for this main event, Mike. Jake and Anderson. I'm interested to see what the fighters on the card think. Who you got, man?
Yes.
It's so hard. I wish I could have seen Jake. Funny enough, I'm on Jake's card. I've never spoken to Jake, never exchanged a message with Jake in my life. So it's weird commenting on this. But if Jake has developed past his Tyron fight in December and can work in the middle range better than he did in that fight, as opposed to his power at 100%, I think he wins the fight. I think age is on his side, determination is on his side. He has some experience of being there, being the main event. And Anderson Silva, accomplished fighter, megastar, possibly the GOAT. Age, man. As a doctor, I have to go with age on this one. That's why I always point out Chris Avila is 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And an active fighter, not retired.
I was gonna say you're stacking the deck for yourself there. No, I mean, listen, I gotta listen to the doc, man. Age, father time, you can't beat him. Sensei, what else you got, man?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, what is your I don't know if I should say end game, but your goal overall in YouTube and like crossover boxing or boxing in general? There's so many guys in this scene who are YouTubers that are looking for a new opportunity, or like Jake Paul, right? He needed to find direction, and boxing was direction for him, right? Most of these YouTubers, even myself, for me, it's like I was out the game, but it looked like I could get a bag out of it. So I'm like, all right, I can get paid. Let's do this, So, but I look at you and I'm like, why is he doing this? Is it just boxing? So I'm like, why is this guy doing this? Because I'm just interested to hear that. What's your end game?
Yeah. I was hanging out with Amanda Serrato and her family not too long ago. And they're like, Mike, you make no sense to us. You're financially well off. You're a doctor. You have a career. We do this because this is our life and this is what we have. Why are you doing this? And I understand the question. I'm in love with the sport. I love putting myself in uncomfortable situations so I can grow and learn from them. I feel like if I tell people to live to the top of their potential, I have to do the same. And if my trainer, who entrusts me with the lives of his family members by being their doctor, tells me I have to do this because he thinks I'm good enough, I'm going to entrust my life right back to him. And that's sort of everything coming full circle, because the way him and I met and the way that I got into boxing was 11 years ago, I lost my... It was actually a crazy year in like the 2010 range. My father lost his mom, his dad, and his wife of 20 plus years, which are my grandparents and my mom, all in 1 year. And it was a really dark time. And when you're in a dark space, you're not taking care of your physical health, your mental health. And boxing kind of brought me out of a dark place. And I owe that to boxing. So that's why when I'm coming into this, it's not about the money. It's not about the social media clout. I could probably spend more time creating better videos to get more viewers than going on boxing. In fact, most of my fans are confused why I'm boxing.
Right.
But I think we can do something special for the world, for charity. I'm donating my entire fighter pay on this fight to the Harlem Boys and Girls Club here in New York. That's $175,000 they wouldn't have had. If I get a knockout, that's another $100,000 they wouldn't have had. So there's a lot that we can do. And I can only imagine if these fights continue to grow and they start growing into the 7 figures, the donations we can make, the impact that we can make. No one in the boxing game is going to do this. We're the only ones that can do this. So it's pretty cool to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is amazing to hear, man. For me, I wanted to get into the mind of that because, I've talked to other fighters, no other fighters, UFC fighter level fighters, and then even myself who has a full-time job, it's hard to balance. So to hear that it's personal and it's your relationship with boxing, and personal by meaning it's for your own challenges, things that you want to do, accomplish personally that are outside like the clout and you're building your brand or whatever it's awesome to hear. It's dope.
Yeah, it's goes back to the psychology of happiness, and a lot of times we think it's the extrinsic or outside things that make us happy, the clout, the money, the cars, the fame, all of that. When in reality, it's the things that mean something to us, the family that I've created in boxing with my sparring partners, my training team, my YouTube team. That sort of family brings lasting happiness, win, lose, or draw. In fact, one of the reporters savagely asked me on the Showtime press conference, Mike, this is a beautiful goal you have. It's a beautiful dream. But what happens when you get your ass kicked by Chris Avila? if you get your ass kicked by Chris Avila. And I was like, you know what? The journey is not about that. It's the journey that counts. It's what we're trying to achieve, and the message that we're trying to put out there is the important message. It's not whether or not I take a W or an L, but of course, anyone that's been training knows the W is incoming.
Yeah, listen, Ariel Helwani was throwing shots too, saying you can't lose to a doctor. Come on, man, you can't tell a Chris. I was like, listen.
At the end of the day, look, these are the same people that say boxing is the sweet science, and at the end of the day, I am a scientist.
This is true. Well, listen. You're going to concoct a formula up on fight night, and I need to know, again, without giving away strategy, things like that, how do you get this fight done, Mike? How do you go out and beat Chris Avila?
Well, I'll show my boxing IQ in this one. I thought I did a fairly good job against iDubbbz. He was also very unorthodox and very tough.
Yeah.
So he grabbed in times where I didn't expect him to grab on. He pushed. He came back with fire after I unloaded on him that I did not expect for him to do that. So that was unusual. But now I'm ready for that type of style. I know what to do. I know how to follow up shots. Whereas before it was just land a shot. That's the goal. Land a shot, land a shot. But now we have a plan A, B, C, D after the shot on what to do. And I feel like that's where you start thinking higher caliber as a boxer. And I'm hoping after this event, we move forward from, wow, it's really nice that Mike's doing this for charity, to, wow, Mike is really good in the boxing ring and is doing this for charity.
Listen, the man is for real. Whether you think he's just a doc, just a YouTuber, you're going to find out on Saturday. He's got them hands and he's ready to prescribe. Dr. Mike, thank you for joining us here on The Breakdown. Myself, Sensei. He is fighting in Glendale, Arizona on Saturday, October 29th on the Showtime Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva card. Once again, Mike, thank you. Sensei, anything left from you, man?
That is all. Appreciate it. Appreciate the honest dialogue and being forthright.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
We will see
as always.
Mike next time. Peace.